Good afternoon, happy Monday. I'm hoping to make this a really short video. First thing I want to do is I want to start off reviewing the unit circle that you just learned, filling it out with degrees only. So let's do a real quick review. Remember, I'm going to start here on the initial side with the x-axis. This starts out being 0 degrees. I like to do my 90-degree angles first, so I would go at 90, then 180, 270, then all the way around would be 360 degrees. Then some of you would just go straight around. Some of you like your 30-degree angles first. I like to do my 45s. So because I did a terrible drawing, so oh my gosh, I forgot my 60s. Let me draw those in real quick. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so my 45s would be right here. So I cut 90 in half, I get 40, so 0 plus 45. 45 plus 45 is 90. 90 plus 45 is 135. Plus 45 is 180. Plus 45 is 225. Plus 45 is 270. Plus 45 is 315. And plus 45 is 360. Now I'm going to start with my 30s, which of course is easier to count by. But again, this is how I like to do it. So starting here at 0, I go 30. At 30 I get 60. At 30 I get 90. At 30, 120. At 30, 150. At 30, 180. At 30, 210. At 30, 240. 270, 300, and then 330, all the way around. Now tomorrow or Wednesday, the lesson is going to be teaching you radians, and I showed you a little bit started on radians. Radians is from the word radius. So just real quick on refreshing you that if you go halfway around the circle, that's called pi. When you go all the way around the circle, it's 2 pi. Because the lesson for today is converting from degrees to radians and radians to degrees, which is all calculator work, if you even need a calculator. So here is the rules over here to your left for converting from degrees to radians, and that's just putting a pi on the answer. So we're getting it out of degrees on the unit circle and we're changing it to radians. That means it's going to be, instead of like having a 30-degree angle, it's going to be in radians instead. That's pi over 6. So it's going to have a pi in the answer. So it's really simple. So you just multiply your degrees by 108, pi over 180. Now if you want to convert it from radians to degrees, you multiply it by 180 over pi. So we're going to do some examples here, and I'm just going to scoot it up just a little bit. So all you need is to have the rules right here. Just these rules to do it, and you're going to do some little math. So if I want to know what a 30-degree angle is in radians, I just take this and I multiply it by pi over 180, because I want my answer to have a pi in it, the symbol pi. So you can use your calculator to simplify, but hopefully you remember how to cross cancel. I know I can wipe out 0 for 0. And for those of you who want to write it like this would be like 3 pi over 18, but that can be simplified more to 1/6. Or you would write it as pi over 6. That's called radians. That's called radians. That's how you leave your answer. So you can either write this angle as 30 degrees or pi over 6. But we'll get into that later. So let's just do the math so I can make it quicker. So on 2, a negative 20 degrees, if you recall that this means going clockwise on your unit circle, I'm just going to multiply it by pi over 180. That's all you have to do. So again, my zeros are going to cancel out. Negative 2 over 18 reduces to negative 1/9. For some of you who need to see that visually, I'll go ahead and write it here. And then you can simplify that to -1/9, or just write it simply as negative pi over 9. So from -20 degrees, you can write it as radians as negative pi over 9. Here we go. If you want to pause this and try the next two by yourself, go ahead and pause it and try it by yourself before you see my answers. Okay, if I put that over 1, remember I can cross cancel here. Zeros can wipe out, and then I can divide those both by 3. So if I divide that by 3, I get 5. Divide this by 3, I get 6. So my answer is 5 pi over 6. That's called radians. This -240 degrees, multiply it by pi over 180. Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy, lemon cheesy. Okay, so again, over 1, I can cancel out a 0 for a 0. I can divide both of those by 6. So -24 divided by 6 is -4. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Then top times top, bottom times bottom, I get -4 pi over 3. So that's, again, converting it from degrees to radians. Now, if it's in, degrees to radians. If it's in radians and I want to convert it to degrees, I want the pi symbol to disappear. And so this is almost easier. So let me speed it up a little bit. So I'm just going to multiply by the reciprocal. So think about it. I want that pi symbol to go away. So if I multiply by 180 over pi, well, the pi's are going to cancel out. So instead of pi over 180, now it's 180 over pi. So it just makes sense. So here, the pi's are going to cancel out. And then, oh, by the way, that's a 7. Of course I made a mistake. Okay, so then I'm going to simplify this. So let's see, I can go here, 12 and 18, they can both be simplified by 6. So that would be 2, and this would be 30. Boy, I hope I'm doing this right. And then that would be, that's a negative, by the way, so that'd be -210 over, whoops, 210. Look, I made another mistake. Someone would have got candy if we were in the class. Over 2, and then that simplifies, oh my gosh, well, I can never do math while I'm on the spot. I don't have my glasses. I did this math and now I don't remember. Crud. -105, duh, Brenda, -105 degrees. There you go. Oh, come on, half of 210, really? This is what I get for trying to rush. Okay, so there's my answer from radians to degrees. Okay, so on the next one, again, I want to get rid of the pi symbol, so it just makes sense to multiply by the reciprocal. So right here, the pi's, the first thing that's going to happen is these are going to cancel out. And then I'm going to cross cancel to simplify. So obviously I can divide those both by 6. So this would be a 1, this would be a 30, and then 7 times 30, oh look, I got the same thing. This time I'll get it right. So this would be 210 degrees. Do not forget your degree symbol. Do not forget your degree symbol. Like this is going from radians to degrees. No pi in there. Now the last one is really kind of looks weird, but it's 5 pi's. That would be, okay, 2.5 circles. So, okay, door handle's in the way. So I multiply by 180 over pi. Okay, and then if you look here, the pi's would cancel out, and that would be, let's see, that'd be 0, 180 times 5, so that'd be 0, and then 40, carry your 4, 900 degrees. There's your answer. And that's it, peeps. That's the end of the show. So you can cut me off. I'll be sending a worksheet just like this. Have a good evening. Peace out. Like my hat?